Hello and welcome along to another episode and another new season from this FM22 Head Coach story with me, Daniel. We are back today to start season 11 and our second season at Manchester United. And due to part of the success in our first year, we now get a chance to win another new trophy at the start of this season. It's the Community Shield final against Liverpool, the FA Cup winners. We've got a couple of injury concerns. Of course, we've got an ageing squad. We've also got a summer transfer window to get through too. I'd call it slightly underwhelming. I'll get your opinion on it as we go along. But John Murtough certainly not been as busy as he was last year. And we wait for what may be another busy deadline day. So if you're looking forward to seeing what goes on, why I'm disappointed by certain things, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from two long-term stories. It's a massive season in our one club story with Hemel Hempstead. You can find a link to the start of that season up in the eye above. You can also support the show as a channel member. There's links in the eye above to the Twitch channel for regular live streams and the football podcast too. But let's get going with the new season. It's not been the busiest summer in the world, but it has been interesting, to say the least. The return of Champions League football, some of the sponsorship deals coming back means we have got a bit more money in the bank this year, though it hasn't quite reached the height that it did last season. Hopefully we won't lose as much during the year though. What I am a little concerned about is the general age of our squad, because I haven't had a problem, as much as it frustrates me, with the director of football keeping an older squad, with the club choosing not to regenerate as much. What I can't understand is why every summer they're selling one of their best young players. We had it with Canyo in centre mid last year, who was replaced by an older player that was similar ability for 3 times the money. And this year, history is repeating itself on the out front. So let's go and start straight with the transfers. There is an offer in to Sampdoria for a goalkeeper. That's because Boyce Clark has gone out on loan. He'll be a new third choice if he comes in. There's a youngster joining from the US Colorado Rapids Academy at the start of January. And there's a few youngsters, including Timur Erdogan, who might be going out on loan, which is a shame because we know he's part of our squad. However, if we look at the history, it's been a weird old summer. So I come to the end of last season's screen just to show you that Stephen Duffy, one of the Irish midfielders, has gone out on loan. Wasn't particularly near the first team, so that's not a big issue. On to this season though, only 2 signings, massive profits, and we've lost our best central defender. We've also lost one of our best young talents coming back from loan, and we've replaced neither, which is a big problem for me. There's also a few squad players that have left the club. You know Dahlberg was going, you've seen Fraser McIntyre there out on loan, as well as Boyce Clark, the third keeper. And even one of the 2 players we have bought in has already left the club on loan. So I am in a little bit of a troubled situation because we've only got 2 centre-halves of high quality and then Ben White, who's already injured again, but isn't good enough anymore. So I really don't know how we're supposed to progress. I'm not against Fofana going because he was injury prone. He was 30, but he was one of the best centre-halves, if not the best in the world. And 50 million does not seem a lot of money for that. Silic is another one that's gone for massive money, so let's just reflect on those. Dahlberg went at the end of his contract to Roma. We knew that was happening. And I'm not too upset with the replacement, albeit it's a little bit of a puzzling situation. Wesley Fofana though, I think until we click on his profile each time, we forget how good he was. And the fact that he's going for £50 million again to PSG, just like what happened with Berea last year, is a very worrying sign. When we've got players in the mid-30s who aren't playing, like your Sanchos, like even your Bruno Fernandes, I guess now at 36. To then see these ones going instead is a big, big alarm bell for me. The big worrying one though, even more so than Fofana, is this one, Domingo Silic. £55 million to Atalanta. He was coming back from loan and was rated in our team meeting at the start of the season, or pre-season even, as our star player. 22 years of age, Croatian international, now worth £200 million having joined Atalanta. And you can see at 22 he's going to be a world beater. He's already played a season for Marseille on loan, a season for Bournemouth on loan. He's played games for Celtic. He's played in his native land. Why on earth have we developed this player just to let him go for what is going to prove to be a nominal fee compared to what he's worth in a few years' time? I'm baffled by it. We've got Sancho, who's over 30 and was out injured half of last year. We've got Rashford, who's 33 now, I think. We've got Magno Luis, who is 2 years older and not as good. Kylian Mbappe's well into his 30s as well. Fernandes, I know a slightly different position, but in that attacking midfield area, who's 36, 37. Why? Why sell the best 22-year-old at the club? I just do not understand, and that's baffled me more than the Fofana one, if I'm being honest. We also sold one of the other young midfielders, not quite as good this one, but Ian Taylor, brought through the academy, sold to West Brom for £6.5 million. He was on loan at Rangers last year after a season at MK Dons. And then one that featured in the first team a lot last year, Fraser McIntyre. He's gone on loan to Alaves. He's a good young player, but he's not going to be playing for us. So hopefully he can have a good season there. And then we should mention Boyce Clark as well. He's gone on loan for the rest of the season to Bournemouth, who of course had Rett Nieto last year. He's now with us. And with that in mind, it makes the first of our two signings even more puzzling, and the only first team signing so far, because Martin van der Voort is a very well-known name. He's a young wonder kid in real life, and he is at the start of the save. However, he has come in from Hoffenheim for 20 million to be our backup goalkeeper, and he's no better than Rett Nieto, or if he is, it's a tiny difference. So a very solid number 2. I'm happy with him, but I don't understand what the pathway then is for Nieto. The other signing has already gone out on loan, came from River Plate for about 3.8 million and has gone out on loan already. It is Santiago Bonjour, who is an 18-year-old Argentinian centre midfielder, 1.5-star ability, 3-star potential, great personality, brilliant technically, as you'd expect from many South Americans, and very strong mentally at a young age too. He's got the stamina, the rest of his physicals need work, but I'm sure we'll get a season of football now. He's gone out on loan again. So not a bad sign in that one. There is a lot of money left in the transfer kitty. There is still 153 million because we made a massive profit and a lot of money on the wage bill too. What I desperately need to see from that is a central defender. If we go and have a look at the squad, there are a few players that have been offered out on loan or who are wanted. Bordinelli's wanted, and what I didn't realise is Bordinelli, our backup left back, is the 4th highest paid player at the club. And I have absolutely no idea what's brought that on. It's only a fringe player, as you can see. But the average age of the squad goes up again. The strength in depth as centre-half goes down again. And we're in a similar position to last season, where we now need a defender or two to get us through to the end of the window. Rett Nieto is wanted, so I wouldn't rule out him going on loan. But then the likes of Casal, Rayan Shirky still about, offering absolutely nothing to the squad. And Voloshin, back from injury, but probably one of the worst players at the club now. So the recruitment has not been good for the squad. The first 11 signings, when he's brought in Bassone, Pavati, have been great. Everywhere else, it's been a bit of a mess. So I'm not best pleased, to be honest, with how the summer's gone so far. We should still be competitive. But one of the things we mentioned is we're going to be playing 2 high-intensity games every week now. It's not like last season where on Thursday night we were boosting our confidence, resting our first 11 and fresh for the league game at the weekend. We're going to be playing big Champions League matches and we cannot afford to have a weakness in any area of the squad. So with that in mind, let's have a look at the season preview and where, as our squad stands at the moment, the media expect us to finish. They have got us favourites ahead of Manchester City and Chelsea, which perhaps shows you how weak the league is at the moment. But there is a difference this year. Jurgen Klopp has taken charge of the citizens, and I'll be very interested to see if he gets a reaction. I just want to see by comparison as well. In fact, we'll just do it by the league. What sort of transfer sums are being spent? So Manchester City have paid 80 million for a player and 63 million for a player already. One of them's a 23-year-old Brazilian centre-half. One of them, 24-year-old Senegalese keeper. So they're regenerating their squad. We're not. Chelsea have paid 50 million to PSG for a player. And even when you look at like West Ham spending £80 million to steal good players off teams further down the league, everyone else is signing young players apart from us, or players in their peak. And we're lagging behind. Our biggest transfer just makes it to the bottom of the screen. And it's a backup goalkeeper we didn't need. But we've got a chance to start the season in style. Liverpool, perhaps the only other club that aren't really going forward. They have got one big signing this summer for 40 million. But they're sort of making the same mistakes as us, which maybe explains their fall from grace. Let's go and get into it though. The first game of the season, the curtain raiser. Not often the most important game to some. But for us this year, we've got to get games in the bank. Get trophies in the cabinet. If we can win this one early, if we can focus on the League Cup, it will take the eye off any failures later in the season. So let's go and pick our 11 for today. course, you can have more subs in the Community Shield, but I think this is going to be a tough one. And here is the side we've opted for today. So a couple of controversies, I'd say. A couple of big decisions to make. First and foremost, Van der Voort will make his debut. It is a cup competition. It's not the most important game. So Ilyan Meslier will get a break. I was tempted to start Nieto, but I don't think we can go that far. So let's give Van der Voort a run out. Bassone is obviously going to be the centre-half partner for Inacio in the meantime. It does weaken the defence in terms of rollability, but he's still a very solid footballer. I worry about the backups when we have cup games, though. Jaloka and Ampons are in the middle. Jaloka is really improving. He will take over as number 10 from Fernandes next year. But in the meantime, I've got no one to play centre mid, so he's going to have to do a job. And the front four, Rashford and Mbappe play together. Sancho's on the bench. Zolis is on the bench. There is quality there. But I don't know that we've got enough firepower. Bruno Fernandes is out. He is the star man, of course. Hannibal is the man in the number 10 position. But the full 11 is Van der Voort for his debut in goal. Pavati and Guy are the fullbacks with Inacio and Bassone centre-half. And Ponza and Jaloka in the middle. Yakubu, Rashford and Hannibal the attacking midfield three. And Kylian Mbappe up front on his own. 6 of the 7 subs can be used in a Community Shield. And a draw means a penalty shootout. So let's see if we can get on the front foot early doors. Against Liverpool last time in the FA Cup, we were awful. In the league, we virtually wrapped up the title. Let's see which one we get today. And these are the lineups. You can see the new big money signing for Liverpool. 40 million spent and he's sitting on the bench. As is Joe Gomez, Emil Smith-Rowe, Max Aarons, Jorginho. Jeez, look at that squad. Felix and Pedro are up front. We know that's first choice based on recent years against them. Gvardiol and Alexander-Arnold, the fullbacks. A few unknown names in the middle. But Kevin Brown, keep your eye out for their number 9. He's the man who scored the winner in that FA Cup tie. So let's go and get to the pre-match dressing room. We're going to tell the lads to do it for the fans. We've got most of them motivated. We're back for a big season. And we haven't had a big competition this summer in terms of internationals. So everyone should be fighting fit and raring to go. And with 3 minutes on the clock, we're back with a throw-in in our own half. Gaia takes it to Bassone, who might find himself thrust as a regular starter this year. Did do it basically till Christmas last year in fairness due to Fofana's injuries and was very solid. But I'm worried about what's behind him as here comes Kevin Brown for Liverpool. Down the right hand side, Inacio mops up well. Plays a 1-2 with Jaloka. Pavati finds Hannibal. Good football so far. Can we get the ball forward though? We've got to try and get in behind. They're playing a high line Liverpool. And Rashford nicks it on the left to Jaloka. Through to Mbappe. The left back played him on. And Kylian Mbappe had a disappointing year last year until a very good last few games. Well, today he's delivered from the start. Jaloka showing exactly why he's going to be a great number 10. And Kylian Mbappe showing why he's still world class. As we're back with Liverpool keeping the ball in defensive third. They're playing some nice short stuff, but they're not really going anywhere. I don't know who's still in charge of them actually, whether they changed manager, because Klopp's obviously at Manchester City in this save. As Amponza releases Hannibal down the right. Ball across to Mbappe. Oh, this is the start we were looking for. And we've said this before for many years. In the head coach, you can have the negative of a director of football that does your head in. But you can also have the other side of that. When there's not much generation in the squad, you've got a lot of familiarity tactically and in terms of personnel. You've got tight-knit social groups. And as a result, you can get very cohesive performances. As Mbappe turns provider for Yakubu. They don't look ready for this season, Liverpool. What on earth is going on in their back line? It's not even the fact that they've conceded 3 goals against a good attack. They're being tracked all over the shop. They do not look set up well tactically. And yes, we've only got an expected goals of 0.9 with 3 shots on target and 3 goals. But it's been easy. As Yakubu at the back post from a set piece, headed away as far as Rashford. Should make it a lot easier to rest players later on. And hopefully we'll get us a trophy in the bag as Bassone finds Yakubu to Gaia, through to Rashford. Oh, it's so easy. What on earth is going on with the AI management here? Because this Liverpool side have been set up diabolically. The back 4 are all over the shop. And this is turning into a field day for our world-class attacking talent. All 3 of the strikers have got a goal now as Pavati picks it up on the left, delivers to Yakubu, completely unmarked. 5-0. This is easier than Europa Conference games. I don't know if because it's a low reputation competition, Liverpool have rested a few, but they've got world-class players in that back 4. And we're scoring every shot on target. We're getting unmarked headers. We're just getting acres of space. It doesn't seem quite right, but it does bode well for the season ahead if we can keep everyone fit. As Kevin Brown gets down the right for Liverpool, in towards Miambo, who's making the run through. Van der Voort had a very easy debut so far. Tips one wide at the post. It's a brilliant effort, a strong wrist. And now he's got a corner to defend. Brown will take it himself. In swinger, Yakubu heads away. It's out to the left-hand side. Brown's second ball in is much better. But Pavati doing what none of the Liverpool defenders could and defending the ball at the back post. João Felix into the box though. Forced out to the right. Brilliant from Rashford. Finds Jalocca under pressure in his own box. Lays off to Pavati who hoofs clear. With 5 to the break. This is maybe the best performance since we joined the club, ironically. As Rashford switches the ball to Yakubu. He cuts it back to Amponza. He's gone down under a challenge. It's not a foul. But it's cleared away only as far as Gaia, who gives it to Hannibal. He cuts back to Gaia as well. It's basically playing exclusively in the Liverpool third. Basone, Hannibal, Jalocca, Yakubu, Mbappe, Yakubu. It's scintillating football. It's a sublime goal. It is a stunning move from Manchester United. It's not even half time. Liverpool are 6 down. This is almost embarrassing. But the United fans will be delighted. As 3 minutes of first half stoppage time come, Brown delivers for McFarlane. First free header of the match. First good chance for them. Wide of the post. But at the break, we've not even got to it yet. Because Liverpool are having a little flurry forward. Trent Alexander-Arnold crosses blocked by Jalocca. Brown goes back to his halfway line. Finds McFarlane. Keeping the ball in the defensive area. They have worked it out to the left with Gvardiol. Into João Pedro. That's a super goal. That's what they should be capable of. If only they could defend, eh? 6-1 at the break. I'm not going to get too downhearted. Though we still haven't reached the half-time whistle, it's a wonderful game. Hannibal loses the ball on halfway, wins it straight back in fairness to him. But a few little bits of sloppiness creeping into our play. Basone back to Inacio. Not sure why we're still playing here, to be honest. Inacio releases Rashford, though we won't complain. As he hits the post with a great effort, the offside flag goes up. And it finally is half-time in a bizarre game. We've got weaker, but we're 6-1 up. We've had 6 shots on target, scored them all. And the defending has been Sunday League stuff. So we'll give it 10 more minutes, then we'll make some changes. But what a start to the season this has been. As we're back almost immediately for a throw-in on the left-hand side. Pavati in an advanced position. Plays a lovely triangle with Jalocca and with Hannibal. Into Amponza and Yakubu. Right side of the box, out to Gaia. He can cross as well. Gets to the byline. Finds Yakubu again. Gaia in. Hannibal shots blocked. Malambo heads behind for a corner. It's just carried on in exactly the same form. Liverpool cannot defend the wide areas. They cannot deal with the runners. And we're completely overrunning them. Whether they were half up for this game, it's not as important to them as us. I don't know, but it's an embarrassing performance as Mbappe's made it 7. Hannibal just whips it in from the left. Mbappe runs across his man, who might as well have been a statue. And we might as well start resting people in a minute because it's just been too easy. Now 7 shots on target, 7 goals. And Liverpool are resorting to long goal kicks, which Basone deals with easily. Van der Voort gives it to Pavati, the left back. He can run down the line to Rashford. Switch of play. Yakubu's up. The defender hasn't even followed him. Did you watch that? He played it over the top to the right-hand side. The defender stood still. Yakubu ran onto it. Mbappe ran into the box to get a tap in. The centre-half stood still. And it's 8-1. Amu's coming on for his Liverpool debut. He'll be wondering what he's joined. As João Pedro going for some individual magic. Back to the edge of the box for Liverpool. Wide to Gvardiol. Got to offer something going forward because he can't defend for Toffee. As Amu crosses, Pedro hits the post. Gaia heads away to Yakubu who flicks on. It is absolutely awful from Liverpool Football Club here. And there'll be a lot of panic stations in the media for their team. But let's make ourselves some changes. A few of those more tired legs or the ones that struggle more can come off. That will start with Yakubu on the right for Magno Luiz. Zolis on the left for Marcus Rashford. We'll also take off both Jalocca and Amponza, who are going to play a lot this season. Sancho will go number 10 with Hannibal dropping in. And Johnny will go into central midfield. We'll also take off Gaia at right back for Frimpong. Pavati at left back for Bordenelli. Have we got a 7th sub? No, we haven't. I feel like I should bring Casau on rather than Bordenelli. I'll give it 10 more minutes and make a decision. So 5 subs made, the last one can wait. As it's a free kick for Liverpool just inside their own box with McFarlane getting it short from the keeper. Alexander-Arnold plays out to Maglio and Amu, the new man. Big switch from him. Frimpong coming, as does Van der Voort. I was worried for a minute, but he did really well there. Cleared it down towards the Liverpool left-back. And they work it back into centre-half. Through midfield they go. Not the best defending from us now, but Pavate, he's alert. And he actually follows his run-up, which is great to see. Zolis goes down the left to Mbappe. Loads of men up in support. Liverpool not getting back at the same speed. Mbappe back to Zolis. Free as a bird on the edge of the box. Curls it into the top corner. It's 9-1. What on earth are we witnessing here? This can't just be the reputation of the game. It's pathetic defending. I really don't understand it. I'm going to give Hannibal a rest because he's really struggling physically. Must have picked up a knock. Where can Casal play? Does it make any difference? Not really. He's not really a centre mid. He's more an attacking number 10, but needs must. I don't think it's going to affect the outcome. 9-1 with a quarter to go. Well, as we head towards stoppage time, it has finally quietened down. I do feel I should point out here. I know it looks ridiculous we've won 9-1, and I'm a little bit embarrassed about the Liverpool defending. Our expected goals is less than 3, and theirs is 1.5. So, on paper, this should have been a 2 or 3-1 game. But it isn't. It's 9-1. It's embarrassing for Liverpool. And with a return to the Champions League incoming, with a Premier League crown to defend, it is perfect to start by lifting a Community Shield. Regardless of what happens this season, we've picked up a trophy. And much the same, if we avoid injuries, we're in a great position. But I still feel we're going to need a big centre-half on deadline day, and I'm trusting the director of football to deliver. In this game, though, utterly ridiculous. 9-1, every chance basically went in. So let's praise the lads. You can't ask for more than that. We'll see from the schedule when we're going to next return. Well, we'll start on the competition screen just to show that we've won one of the 2 trophies not listed as important this year. The League Cup we've also not got to worry about. But Champions League football returns. How far can we go? Can we finally make an assault on an FA Cup title? And can we defend the Premier League? Lots of big questions to ask. The board only want us to get in the top 4 though, which is a massive relief for us this season. Let's have a look at the schedule though for when we're next going to be back after that quite sensational and ridiculous final. And it starts pretty tough, the Premier League season. We're away to a Chelsea side that finished second, just a few points behind us last year. We then face Arsenal at home, one of the strongest teams in the division. And then we go away to West Ham, who have also been up in the mix in recent seasons. So 3 of last year's top 7 to begin, the big Manchester derby at the end of September, and Liverpool straight after the October international break. It does mean again though, that towards Christmas, the festive period, and towards the end of the season, we've got those slightly easier games on paper. So maybe it gives us a better chance. And of course, we will have got 3 of the top 7 out the way before the Champions League group start, which could be a massive blessing in disguise for us. So we're going to come back for West Ham United away, the 3rd of those 3, and transfer deadline day, where hopefully John Murtaugh will deliver us a replacement for Fofana. And maybe we'll see 1 or 2 experienced players leave the club. Who knows? There are some loan offers coming in for youngsters, so I think a few more of them will be on their way out. But if you did enjoy this episode, a quiet transfer window, a baffling ones on the outs front, let me know what you thought of those. Then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Can you understand why the best young right winger was sold? Can you understand why Fofana hasn't been replaced? Or do you stick with John Murtaugh? Because based on the performance on the pitch against one of the stronger sides in the division, well, we haven't really got anything to worry about, have we? Unless we get an injury. If you want to stay up to date with the season and see if we ultimately flatter to deceive, or if we can back up our success of last year, then please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Champions League group stage football returning. It's going to make the Premier League a lot harder. You can support the show as a channel member if you wish to as well. Tomorrow we'll be back for Hemel Hempstead Town. A big one as we continue a massive season in that save. I'll put a link to the start of the latest season in the eye above. You can also find the Twitch channel, the football podcast and much, much more. But above my head is the latest season of the Hemel Hempstead Town save. And I'd strongly advise checking it out. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.